On a cold, rainy day in Raleigh, the NC State Wolfpack play host to the Detroit Titans on campus at historic Reynolds Coliseum. It's college basketball on ESPN3. Welcome inside historic Reynolds Coliseum here. Andrew Sanders alongside Mark Thomas. And Mark, the Wolfpack and the Titans getting together tonight. And both of these teams have had a little bit of a break. They haven't played in the last week. They had to take care of fall semester exams. They're past that now and eager to get back on the hardwood.
They are, and here's the thing about a college athlete. You want to be a creature of habit. You get into a good routine. That'll happen once conference play starts in January. But right now with these non-conference games, it's a little disjointed, trying to take care of exams, take care of classes, trying to take care of, a little week off before a game, but you got to rely on the upperclassmen. I think for NC State, you got Jordan Vanderberg. You're talking about a guy who, as a fifth-year senior, it don't happen a lot of fifth-year senior, that's a football term, fifth-year senior on a basketball team. He's a great leader, but over the last 4 games, his defensive leadership has allowed T.J. Warren to move back to the 3, be a little more skill set for him so that he can be the scoring leader. And, of course, on the other side, Detroit Mercy. Whenever you hear the name Juwan Howard, of course, we're talking about the Fab 5, Juwan Howard, where his son is playing on this team, and the guy's extremely talented. He's a stat stuffer. He's, as a redshirt junior, leads this team on both ends of the floor. An experienced player that has a lot of experience, but definitely can be the leader on both ends of the floor.
And now let's take a look at some of the starters tonight. With the freshman Jared Williams to go along with Carlton Brundage, Juwan Howard we just talked about, Paris Bass getting the surprise start tonight at Ford, and Ugachukwu Njoku at the center spot. For NC State, Mark, it's the same lineup that we've been seeing the last several games since Vandenberg has come back. Really the last 4 games, this has been the lineup. Yeah,
Cat Barber in the starting lineup. No Tyler Lewis. Cat Barber gives NC State a little more explosiveness. And, of course, with Jordan Vandenberg, as we highlighted, in the one-on-one back in that starting lineup, that allows T.J. Warren to move back to the 3, and it allows them to attack that 2-3 zone that Detroit's going to open up with.
You see the series history, just the second meeting all time. We are now underway here in Reynolds Coliseum. And Detroit will have the first possession. Brundage will look to Howard on the wing.
The Wolfpack doing a good job of spacing their guys out.
First shot off the mark, and Des Lee comes away with it for the Wolfpack.
Mark Godfrey challenged his guys to play a little better defense after that Long Beach State game, extend that defense, and, of course, Detroit open up with the man-to-man.
Yeah, we expect to see a lot of zone from Detroit tonight, but they start off in the man. And here's Vandenberg, top of the key. Nowhere to go, and they'll reset with Barber, 12 on the shot clock. It's a ball screen from Freeman. And a pretty floater for Cat Barber starts off the scoring for the Wolfpack.
Cat Barber in a one-on-one. You're talking about Cat Barber, the leading scorer all time in Virginia high school history. I don't know, that a guy named Allen Iverson that played basketball in high school. I don't know if you've heard of him.
That rings a bell.
Pretty good, but Cat Barber definitely good in one-on-one situations. They could throw off the pack, they opened up with a man.
Williams, good hesitation move, and he lost the handle on the way up. Barber looking to push. Little pull-up. 16-footer, no good. Rebound goes to Freeman. Pretty pass inside, jammed by Vandenberg.
I like it. T.J. Warren actually tripping going back up the floor, but when he's at the 3, he then can maneuver outside. You have to worry about the big guys down low.
Another shot off the mark. Detroit just can't find it yet, and Lee kicked to Barber, thought about the open 3. And the ball comes out of bounds.
You know, I like what Detroit is doing, opening up this game with the man-to-man, because you've seen a lot of zone. NC State has struggled with the zone, but I like that attitude. I like that they're not only playing man, but it's an aggressive man, and you're really challenging NC State to change up what they're doing. Now you see more of a matchup type zone underneath. Gives NC State a problem. They can't get the ball in.
So a turnover for the Pack. NC State a quick 4-0 lead here in the early going. Carlton Brundage, the transfer from Michigan. Whistle and a foul going the other way.
Lots been made of what the NCAA has asked these referees to do with the fouls. The fouls on the perimeters, they've gone up. They're trying to get more fouls, but more importantly, get the scoring to go up. They've seen over the first month and a half that scoring for the most part has gone up. But see, I don't know if that's because of the fouls being called or the fact that some teams are they're putting the foot on the pedal as far as scoring, understanding that going into the season you got to score to win. This season they're going to allow scoring to go up a little bit.
Ball taken away from Warren, and Williams will jam one on the other end. The first bucket for Detroit goes to the freshman from Danville, Virginia.
Jared Williams getting up a little 6'2". I like that. Make Dickie V, former Detroit coach, proud. Little 3-2 zone. Little matchup 3-2 zone for Detroit.
Lee, spot up three, splash.
Look, you want to take a team out of a zone, you got to hit perimeter shots. NC State's kind of struggled with that all year. Detroit trying to make the adjustment with the defense that they're playing.
Blocked by Freeman, and Barber able to keep it in bounds. Pretty good pace being played by both of these teams. Lee pulled the trigger for three again, off the mark this time, and Howard comes away with it. You're absolutely right, Mark. NC State has really struggled from the three-point line, but they've been very efficient inside the arc.
Yeah, they have, and whenever, especially with this UCLA high post offense that Mark Gottfried had brought in here, and now you go back to this 3-2 zone. It's got to be great ball movement, especially when you're attacking the zone. Get the ball around the perimeter and get it to the outside, the wing shooters. Desmond Lee comes in, junior college transfer, starting to hit shots for the Wolfpack. That'll be big.
Bruinsma off the mark, but Brundage gives the Titans a fresh shot clock. Three, no good. Fight for the rebound, and another offensive board for the Titans, and Howard, little 10-footer from the corner, knocks it down.
Juwan Howard Jr. I like him because he came out about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game to get his warm-up. Obviously learned that from his father. Prepared to play, and that's what he did. You see that mid-range jump shot. Not a lot of guys can hit that shot.
Warren will try a three, and it's good. So NC State already knocked down a couple of threes here.
The Wolfpack having struggled from three-point range has knocked down a couple already.
And you can see the pace that Detroit wants to play with after a made basket. They get right back down the floor and get Bruinsma a good shot. Push
the ball up the floor, attack the rim, attack it, especially with their big guys. Anytime a big guy's willing to run the floor, you got to appreciate that.
NC State really working the ball from side to side. Now Barber will pull the trigger for three. No good. And Howard pulls down another board. Already three quick boards for Juwan Howard. Williams in transition, no. And Freeman will save it in bounds. Lee will give it up to Barber. Lee knocked down that three. He had been only 3 for 20 on the year, three-point shooting.
Mark Godfrey has talked to him in practice, wants him to shoot it more, and wants him to get to a rhythm. That's why he was brought here out of junior college in Arizona, because he's a shooter. He's a three-point shooter, can hit shots from outside, and you need that, especially with teams willing to play his zone.
Did Howard get the timeout? No, he stepped out of bounds. It'll be Wolfpack basketball after we take this break. 15:25 left, and NC State and TJ Warren up 4 early.
How's that sound?
Sorry, Greg, I turned you down. I forgot. I couldn't hear you. What did you say? Okay. They were getting up and down the floor there a little bit. Anything you want from me?
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
I like your energy out there. That's good. I like it.
Thanks.
Juwan Howard. I like this guy. I like that. All right, so we'll go Detroit first, then we'll go NC State.
That'll work.
Got anybody bringing the stats here? We should. And welcome back to historic Reynolds Coliseum. Andrew Sanders and Mark Thomas with you here. And Mark, let's take a look first at the Titans and what they've done up to this point, their last 8 games.
Yeah, you look at the Detroit Titans, it's not only the fact that they've been able to get some wins against, Rhode Island, South Florida, but it's that they're willing to play these guys and willing to challenge themselves going on the road against a team like NC State. And they won the NIT last year, NCAA 2 years ago. You got to face those teams. For the Wolfpack, Mark Gottfried's focused on playing teams, although they don't have the big names right now. Cincinnati, of course, they do. But they're teams that have great RPIs. NC State getting on a win streak here as of late. A lot of that because of Jordan Vandenberg's return to the lineup after losing to Central, which Mark Gottfried said, obviously, it was a tough loss, but it's definitely a strong learning experience for this team. Getting Jordan Vandenberg back is probably going to be the linchpin as whether or not the Wolfpack is going to have a successful NCAA team or not.
They got him back for that Florida Gulf Coast game. Florida Gulf Coast, really the darling of the dance last year. NC State wins by 20. They get a 20-point win over Eastern Kentucky as well, another good team that won 25 games last year. And they've really scheduled, like you said, Mark, some really quality teams with good RPIs. As Barber's shot is off the mark and deflected out of bounds by Freeman. It'll be Titan basketball.
I love how you listen to these college coaches talk, and they talk about junk defense. I know we keep harping on this, but Ray McCollum, it's one of those things where you want to confuse the offense. You want to, especially with a freshman point guard and Cat Barber, you want to confuse him so he's not expecting man every time, a 2-3 zone, 3-2. We got a 1-3-1 there. They're mixing it up, and I think that's creating some confusion for the Wolfpack.
Bruinsma with the ball. Howard will pull the trigger.
That's not his shot. That's not his shot. He's a big man. The mid-range jumper is his game. Wolfpack are going to let him have that all day.
And Warren thought he was going to get the foul. He gets the carry call, a turnover.
You can do that in and one. I don't know if you see that on ESPN. Come on. You can't call that.
Not going to get away with it tonight.
No. You're toting it like you're toting a loaf of bread is what Coach always used to say. You can't do that. High and tight. It's like a football term. It's like a carrying through the middle of the lane.
As the third Wolfpack turnover, they actually have the best mark in the ACC, average fewer than 10 turnovers per ball game. That's something they've been doing extremely well this season.
The matchup on Juwan Howard, Desmond Lee is going to be drawing him for the first part of this game. Desmond Lee came in, and he's so smart with his aggressiveness on defense and knowing and willing to study the game plan. Bobby Lutz, who sets the defensive game plan for the Wolfpack, appreciates a guy coming in who he's an older guy, okay? What is he, 22, 23 years old, comes into the Wolfpack, a little bit over, a little more experience, but willingness to study and play defense. Not just play it, but study and know what his guy's going to do. Now here's a 2-1-2.
Switching up the zone a little bit, giving him some different looks, and that's something that Cat Barber's talked about. His teams will throw the zone at him. He's so quick, it's really hard to guard him with the man. And right now, NC State's struggling with the zone, and you see the speed of Barber.
Cat-like quickness, that's how I got the nickname.
Lee gives it up to Warren for 3. No good. Offensive board goes to Freeman, and they'll reset it.
Typically, you think, yeah, you got a break while you're taking a 3, but TJ Warren knew, just 2 big guys under the basket by themselves. It's a free shot.
Warren with the left hand off the glass and good.
Hey, that's where he's hard to handle. He can finish around the basket. He's tough to defend. Leading the ACC in scoring because of shots just like that. He can take it to the basket and he can finish.
Patrick Owanu gives it up to Howard, now top of the key. Bruinsma, who's really was a reserve player last year, and both of these teams very similar. They lost a lot of their scoring. 3 from the wing, rims out from Anton Wilson. And the Pack back with the basketball in a 12-6 lead here, just under 13 minutes. Barber way too strong. And I think it surprised Freeman. It only caught the glass, didn't catch any rim.
I expected to hit something.
We'll see who's the fouls on. It looked like Warren got a clean block. I think they got it on the contact there.
Yeah, they did. Juwan Howard Jr. attacking the paint. Looks like he comes up hobbling a little bit, but that's what it lends itself to, where he's got the break and he sees the open lane. You just attack the paint. They're gonna call a foul. If you address, in years past, a guy could body you up even though he was moving his feet, fall down, take a charge. So you're always leery of that. Well, the rule changes this year allow for a guy who's driving the paint. If there's any contact whatsoever, you're going to the foul line. Now, you got to be able to finish, be able to hit some foul shots, but the 6'6" redshirt junior connects on the first one. But the 6'6" redshirt junior, he's crafty. He's wily veteran, and I think he gets a lot of that from his dad. Juwan Howard coaches him up and tells him, hey, you want to be a player, this is what you got to be good at. But not only the warming up, preparing himself to play, but the types of shots this guy can hit. And obviously being a good foul shooter lends itself to the fact that this guy's willing to work. Get a little full court pressure from Detroit. 3
changes for the Wolfpack. Kyle Washington now with the ball in the game. He gives it up to Tyler Lewis, who's also new into the ball game. And the third new member of the Pack is Ralston Turner, the transfer from LSU. Cap Barber, that foul was called on him, not on Warren. That's his second foul, so expect to see a lot of Tyler Lewis for the rest of this first half. Warren's pull up, and that one was knocked out of the basket. Should count.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, I think the Wolfpack are the ones that knocked it out. They're going to talk about this. I think when you go back and look at it,
I think it was Washington.
Kyle Washington knocked it out of the basket. I can't,
That ball was going down.
And out, they said no basket. Kyle Washington, that happens. Odd that it happens, but it does happen. It's like it's the opposite of the guy that knocks it in the other team's basket. You know what I'm saying? Where the ball goes up, Kyle Washington knocks it in the basket, and they give it to the nearest guy. Well, that was the opposite. He knocked it out of his own basket.
So a tough break for the Wolfpack.
I don't know if he gets a block shot for that or not.
And now a hard foul call as Matthew Grant, the freshman from Los Angeles, California, driving to the basket there.
Seeing over these last couple games with Matthew Grant, he's going to use his speed, his quickness to attack players he feels like he's quicker than. Dude, oddly enough, Tyler Lewis is a pretty good defender, and a lot of guys try to take advantage of him early as he connects with the first one. And that's what you see from Grant. I mean, he's licking his chops. Played high school ball down there in Los Angeles, and was just a speed ball handling guy that wants to take guys off the dribble, a lot like Cat Barber for NC State. And he penetrated, made Tyler Lewis draw the foul, got 2 points out of it.
The Titans only have 2 double-digit scores, and that's Bruinsma and Juwan Howard Jr., but Grant, as a true freshman, is nearing double digits. He averaged 9.5 points per contest. Washington, he's a good passer out of the high post. He shows it off there and feeds it to a cutting T.J. Warren, who was hacked.
It's just good coaching. They spread you out. You got to get it to the high post. Get it to the high post. You find a guy that can attack. NC State on top of Detroit, 12-10.
Good stuff. Going to break, that was perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. Because that's kind of the thing where you kind of had it right there, so there's no point for you to say,
that's right.
Hey, Andrew, just so I can say, hey, there's no point for that. That's good.
I thought my guys would at least give me some type of highlight on that pass. I don't know. Got the B group up there. I don't know. Junior varsity day. So what? Oh, trivia. I like trivia. Is that the crowd from the game?
Yeah, from an early game in Chapel Hill.
Let me see it. It was Chapel Hill?
It's a Snapchat, or not in Chapel Hill, but at Carter Finley. Oh. It's a Snapchat, so once it's gone, it's gone. You can't see it. You ever use that app?
No, I've heard about it.
This will be one of those, I'll be like, Mark, we might know the answer to this one. We'll hold off till the next break. Welcome back, NC State 12, Detroit 10. After the second media timeout, the NC State Pep Band getting into it here. And it's nice for these fans to be able to come back to Reynolds. We've got some trivia for you related to Reynolds Coliseum. In what year did NC State play their first men's basketball game at Reynolds Coliseum? You know, so much history here. A couple national championship teams played here. Got any guesses, Mark?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. I should know it. That's the thing. I'm old, okay, and I've watched NC State since I was about the first college basketball game I saw was here. Am I supposed to answer it? Is that the rule?
Well, we'll hold off to the next one. We'll answer it next one.
Let's just say that.
You probably got a good guess, though.
I have a very strong guess because I grew up in this area, and my first college basketball game sat right over here in the corner. Watch NC State beat Georgia Tech, come back from 15 points down, 48 points by a guy named Rodney Monroe dropping threes.
He's a good one.
Yes, the the ice from Fire and Ice. Almost Chris Corciano almost came down the rafters, got me on that one.
Warren's free throw good.
TJ Warren spent the offseason working on his foul shooting. It wasn't something that he was going to do, and he understood that he was going to get a lot of shots this year. He was going to get a lot of opportunities to take it to the basket. Worked on his foul shooting. His numbers are up 12%.
Yeah, he's shooting almost 79% from the charity stripe this season. And a double-dribble called. And Njoku is saying that Vandenberg knocked it away, which I think he might have.
I really like Jordan Vandenberg's attitude. Jordan Vandenberg, you talking about a guy that redshirt, really hasn't played till this year. And we were talking to him earlier about the new rule changes and how he's adjusting. He's like, I don't know what you're saying about new rule changes. I didn't play till this year. These are the rules I'm used to. So we'll call them the Vandenberg rules.
Well, Vandenberg behind a couple of good front court players in Richard Howell and C.J. Leslie. A good-looking young front court player. Washington comes away with it. Here's Lewis, head up. Gives it up to Turner, no good. And NC State right now, this zone is forcing them into a lot of three-point shooting. I think that's what the Titans want to do to them.
Yeah, they do. They want it. When you're taking a team that's not shooting well from three-point range, of course, NC State has been able to hit a couple of them. You want them to continue shooting them because over time, a team's percentage, and I'm not saying you completely buy into the stats because I saw the Wolfpack take on a North Carolina Central team that hit 41 out of 45 foul shots. They had never done that, okay? But a lot of times the percentage will lend itself out with field goal percentage, but especially three-point percentage. You force the team's hand at what they're not good at. And right now the Wolfpack, not a good three-point shooting team.
Howard's pass inside to Bruinsma. They'll kick it out. And lost the handle. Here comes Lewis and the Wolfpack. Lewis all the way to the cup. And not the right English on the shot. Brundage coming the other way. He'll take on Turner, whistle, and a foul. And this crowd here in Reynolds Coliseum
crowd doesn't like that.
Hey,
they don't like that, but that was a great play by Carlton Brundage. He knows he's got one-on-one. Keep taking it to the basket. Keep attacking. They're not going to let you take a charge that they're immediately going to send you to the line. You got to keep going to the basket. The only way to defend that, if you're Ralston Turner, is just sink back as much as possible and let your 7'1" guy that ran the floor, Jordan Vandenberg, block a shot. But Ralston Turner, he was caught in a catch-22 trying to move his feet to get back down court and just couldn't get in front of the player.
Brundage transferred from Michigan. He really hasn't played much the last 2 seasons because he had to sit out last season due to NCAA transfer rules, and then he was backing up a guy by the name of Trey Burke at Michigan.
I've heard of him,
and
yeah.
NC State played them last year. That was a good matchup between Trey Burke and Lorenzo Brown, who's now with the 76ers. Des Lee, top of the key. Lewis calling for the ball. He wanted to swing. Turner for 3. Got it!
Ralston Turner transfers in from LSU. Had it sit out last season. As Kyle Washington goes over and talks to the referee. Just a little come to Jesus meeting, trying to understand what's going on down low, okay? But Ralston Turner comes in. He's a shooter. He's a three-point shooter. And, NC State, you got Scott Wood, one of the greatest three-point shooters NC State has ever seen. We talked about another good one, Rodney Monroe. We don't replace him, but you bring in a guy that can shoot the basketball and it's long. And Ralston Turner trying to fill those shoes coming off the bench, dropping a 3.
And Turner, the transfer from LSU, he was probably their best three-point shooter his first 2 years. Now he's coming off the bench in a reserve role for NC State. Really a luxury for them to have a guy that can knock down threes like that off the bench. Williams kicks it out. Owenu. A long jumper from the wing won't go, and Freeman pulls down yet another board. That's already 5 rebounds. I have Leonard Freeman for. Turner feeling it, not this time. Williams trying to thread the pass inside, and Freeman picked it up. I tell you what, Mark, Freeman, this guy just turned 18 years old this week on December 10th. He's 6'8", and he's listed about 245, and it's a chiseled 245.
He is. He's really going to come into his own, and we've been talking about Jordan Vanderberg a lot. He's a guy that's taken advantage of that with rebounds. Allows him to, when you're worried about a 7-footer in the game, he attacks the boards, does the gritty, tough work that a lot of guys are willing to do coming out of high school.
Pack trying to move the ball a little quicker here. Lee will attack and didn't put the ball on the floor fast enough, dragged the foot, and he walked. And a little talking going on now between Lee and Bruinsma. I don't think he liked the contact after the whistle.
No, but Detroit, these kids are tough. They're not going to back down from the Wolfpack. Now, obviously, for head coach Ray McCollum, you want a little more offense, and I think they're settling for shots instead of attacking the paint. And I think that's what he was just telling right there, setting up something that will be going towards the basket as opposed to these perimeter shots that they've been taking and then wearing down the shot clock.
Brundage will look to drive, and he took an extra step.
But that's more of what you want. That's what we're talking about with Detroit. Get a play where your body is going towards the basket, so you're either taking foul shots, which they've been able to hit, or you're getting a layup. Now, obviously, he traveled there, but for Ray McCollum, the head coach of Detroit, that's what you want to see. Get the ball going towards the basket. Make them defend you down low.
Coach McCollum in his 6th season at the helm of Detroit, and he's really improved them, inheriting a team that won just 2 conference games on the horizon as Turner knocks down a corner 3. And NC State has opened up now a 9-point margin here. And that's a good spot to attack the zone as they're in the corner. Bruinsma trying to get an on-ball screen from, Howard getting an on-ball screen from Bruinsma. Working on Freeman. And a nice move.
That's
he gets
solid.
A soft roll.
And boy, that's solid. I love that. You got the shot fake and you got the step fake. He step faked them left, pulled up.
How about the feed from Lewis to Washington?
Kyle Washington. Now we're getting some scoring. Kyle Washington getting the easy deuce, dropping it down. Tyler Lewis attacking the paint, dropping it to a wide open Washington around the basket.
And Washington getting down in that stance, clapping his hands. You get him going offensively, he might get going defensively as well. Whistle, and we're on the under 8 timeout. It's 22-13 here as we take another look. Tyler Lewis, the sweet feed to Kyle Washington. That graphic was wrong earlier.
Huh?
That graphic was wrong earlier. I shouldn't have gone. The starting lineup, they didn't start pass. He hasn't played. Yeah. Okay, I've got a stat about in the 50 years of games they played what their record was and everything. So.
Yep. Last time they played here, is that what you're talking about?
No, not the last time. Just when they played here in the 50 years they played here for regular season.
Yep.
I feel like the pace of this game has just been quick. I don't know if that's the case or not, or if I don't know. Back here in Reynolds Coliseum, NC State leading Detroit by 9. Andrew Sanders along with my partner, Mark Thomas. And Mark, you said you had a pretty good idea about this trivia question.
I do. And the reason being is because when your dad is as old as an arena. That helps you out. So I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna go with C, 1949.
All right, and that is correct.
Yeah, that was the year my dad was born. And
got it.
Yeah, and that's the way I always remember Reynolds Coliseum, and maybe that's the way I also remember my dad's birthday, is the fact that he was born in 1949. But some of these kids, the crazy thing is they don't know. They don't know about Reynolds Coliseum. A lot of them, it's nice for the fans and the coaches. And, the last time these two played each other, Dick Vitale was staying on the sidelines for Detroit. But these players, they don't know. They don't. I'm not saying I don't think they appreciate it like you would at a Duke University with Cameron Indoor Stadium. But Reynolds Coliseum, a lot of tradition here, a lot of great games. And I think for a lot of fans, a lot of nostalgia that kind of reminds them what NC State basketball can and hopefully will be under Mark Godfrey.
Well, NC State played here for 50 years, from 49 to 99. Went 593 and 187 in regular season games. So a 76% winning percentage for the Wolfpack at home. And you talk to anybody that would go to games back then, and they say it was one of the hardest, if not the hardest place to play in the ACC.
Well, it was
the
because
seats are right on top of you.
The seats were right on top of you. The crowd really got into it. And, of course, didn't hurt that they had some pretty good teams back then as well. But the heat in here, they get that cranked up as well.
Turner. Another three as it spins in.
All-around great shot. That's what you call that. A shooter's touch. Ralston Turner coming into the game doing what he's supposed to do. You're a three-point shooter, make them.
Ralston Turner now 3 for 5 from the three-point line. Lewis to Lee. Cuts inside. Flips one up, no good. And a push going the other way. And it's going to be called on the freshman number 10, Leonard Freeman. And for Freeman, his first foul, but the 7th team foul.
Tyler Lewis, it's always nice to have a guy with experience coming into the game off your bench. Tyler Lewis started the season as the starter. A lot of people thought he'd be the guy. Cat Barber comes in. He's a scorer, but he's a point guard that has the speed and quickness that's just so tough to deal with once you get to ACC play. But having a guy that come in experienced to shoot the ball, it's something that is a luxury for a lot of coaches that they don't have.
Well, NC State has that young backcourt. Lewis is just a sophomore, and Barber obviously a freshman. But, Lewis, a McDonald's All-American, as was Cat Barber, really a luxury for Mark Godfrey to be able to call upon both of those guys. And Lewis really showed in ACC play last year when Brown went down. Virginia, Miami, at Duke, he got the start, and he really showed he can play in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And that I think he surprised a lot of people. The coaching staff knew he could play. The coaching staff knew he had quickness, but even though you see it in practice, you don't know. Some guys are practice guys, some guys are game guys. He got in the game and proved that he can make things happen.
NC State up 12 and with the basketball. It's the preseason All-American T.J. Warren. As he comes towards us, towards the table, he's really chiseled his body down. He lost about 20 pounds in the offseason. And he's been playing extremely well for the Wolfpack, leading the ACC in scoring. Lewis, little spin move and had to dump it down, and he got in the air without knowing where he was going to go with the basketball.
A little indecision up in the air, but also give some credit to Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard playing smart basketball. When you're defending the highest scoring player in the ACC, you always got to be cognizant where he is, even when someone penetrates. Knew how to keep his guy on that, keep his eye on that man. And guess what? He can also score on the other end. Misses that one though. Bruinsma. Detroit just not getting it going offensively. They're starting to attack the basket, which they weren't doing there for a hot minute. Now they're starting to attack the basket, but not able to finish. These are open shots. That's a shot Juwan Howard shouldn't make. And if Detroit can't hit those shots, they're going to be in trouble this afternoon.
Coming into this ballgame, they're only shooting 40.4%. An offensive foul called on Lewis here as he knocks Matthew Grant to the ground. And Lewis, hands on his head, he can't believe it. That's the 8th team foul on NC State. Only 3 fouls on the Titans so far. We'll get another look at it here.
Well,
and you hear the booze. They ran the replay here in the Reynolds Coliseum.
He did create a little space with that arm, and they're going to look at it and see, and they have to do that. They have to see if there was contact with the face, if it was intentional, and that's the new rule that they installed last year. If you throw an arm, you throw a hand, and it contacts something above the shoulders, that not only they got to call it, but they got to call a flagrant foul. It's not even a, well, did you mean to do it, did you not mean to do it? if their arm and you extend and you hit anything from the chin up, it's going to be a flagrant foul, and that's what the officials have to review right now.
It's going to be the second foul on Tyler Lewis, and you can see as soon as the officials went over to the monitor, both coaches, Coach McCallum and I saw Bobby Lutz on the other side calling him over. They want to huddle it up because this is really a free timeout for you to go ahead and look
it
over
is,
things.
and for Ray McCallum, it's just to settle his guys down. I mean, they're trying to determine if it was a flagrant intentional foul. If it was flagrant one, and we're waiting to get the official ruling right now. But for Ray McCallum, and we're going to see it right here. Well,
just from a different angle.
Yep. He reached the arm back. I mean, he couldn't even see him. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you can call that when Tyler Lewis reaches back and he's not even looking.
Certainly no intent from Lewis. Honestly, I don't see anything there at all.
Yep. So they didn't go with the flagrant, just went with the foul. But they got to call it the way that they see him, and that's what they saw. It was contact made by the offensive player. It's going to put a spark in somebody.
It's put a spark into this Reynolds crowd. Howard to the basket, up no good. Can't finish on the layup, and Washington, the long outlet to Warren for the jam.
Washington fired up to get the ball. T.J. Warren, that's a touchdown pass. That was go route, touchdown. See T.J. Warren for the jam.
How about that from Kyle Washington? He is playing with some energy here. Bruinsma goes right at him defensively. And a foul will be called on number 32, Mr. Washington. Get another look. He secures the rebound all the way down the floor.
They work on that in practice. Coaches are teaching that. They teach it at Detroit, teach it at NC State, which is get the ball out of the basket, look up court. Now, obviously, you have the wings where you see the vision up court, and also the catch and the finish. Okay? Sometimes folks will forget that. They'll think the guy running wide open, it's all got to be about the pass. Hey, you got to be able to catch that thing too. If you can't catch it.
You know a little bit about catching passes, Mark.
Yes, I do. You got to be able to catch it, secure it, and then finish. T.J. Warren, one of the best in the country when it comes to finishing around the basket.
Bruinsma knocks down 1 of 2 from the free throw stripe, and that is something that Detroit does exceptionally well, shoot free throws. In fact, they rank 8th in the country in free throw shooting percentage, shooting over 78% as a team, Mark. And Bruinsma checks in at about 84% on the year. Vandenberg in the high post. Warren thought about the three. Now he'll cut inside. A lob for Vandenberg!
That was T.J. Warren. No, where his big man was. Throws the alley, the reverse dunk. Hello, Sports Center. Welcome.
Howard. Again, no. Vandenberg secures the board. Here comes Lewis. Warren open for three. No good. And Bruinsma trying to get out in transition. Tipped away. Howard, nice pass to Grant. Back the other way for Detroit. And a called timeout here for Detroit and Coach McCallum. 29-16. Let's get another look here. At first, I thought, oh, he missed Vandenberg on the pass. No, that's a SportsCenter Top 10 nominee. What a lob.
Knowing where your big man is. Always nice to have a 7'1" guy under the basket. Catches it, the reverse dunk. I love it.
And that's something that these NC State guys, with Vandenberg playing a lot more this year, they've started to figure that out. If you're 7'1" and they start throwing it up at the rim to Jordan Vandenberg, a lot of times he's going to finish it off like that.
And it's also, a lot of it has been him as well. I mean, he's a fifth-year senior, smarter player, but you really hadn't seen it his entire career because he's 40 pounds overweight. So now that he's slimmed down a little bit, it's not that all of a sudden he's now brighter and smarter, but now he can get there. He can get there a lot quicker. And the nonverbal communication that you have with another player, I mean, that's just a thing of beauty. I love it.
And for a guy that's 7'1", they say you can't teach 7 feet, but he moves really well. He's an athletic guy for a 7-footer.
Yeah, and this is, not get too technical, but how do you know when you see a 7-footer, when he's running and moving, his heels, the bottom of his heels aren't hitting the ground. He's not hitting it flat-footed. He's staying on his toes and moving around with lateral movement. That's what he's able to do as a lighter person.
Jordan Vandenberg from Melbourne, Australia, a redshirt senior. He went to the Australian Institute of Sport. They put out some good players. Luke Longley, about Luke Schincher, Patty Mills. A lot of good Australian players go there. He came out of there. Lewis for three. In and out and back in again. That hit every part of the rim before dropping down.
Apparently that's a more favorable rim to be shooting on right now.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes for Detroit in the second half. Bruinsma dishes it off, and a jam inside. Well done by Ugachukwu Njoku on Vandenberg.
We're going to go with NJ. I'll go with NJ on it. NJ takes it to the lane and says, 7'1", that's fine. I'm going to dunk this thing down. Really quiets the crowd here. And Reynolds, Detroit needed that one.
And Njoku, a guy that can go at Vandenberg with his size, as Vandenberg goes up and he's fouled by Jermaine Lippert. And Njoku is at 6'10". We'll get another look. The lob to Vandenberg. NC State up 14 here with 3:16 left in the first half.
Stop by the bookstore display, pick up a wide assortment of Wolfpack hats, t-shirts.
That was a good dunk.
Man, when he threw it up in my head, I'm thinking, oh, he missed Vandenberg. All he had to do is dump it down to Vandenberg.
The crazy thing is I've seen him do it so many times in practice, just like that. And he's got great touch. Is that a three? What? Is that a three? That last one?
ACC scoreboard. Can you show it to us real quick? Who do we got here?
It was 33-30 at halftime. Now, is that 33-31 or 33-30 over Kentucky at halftime? Because I got ESPN saying 33-30. So it's the second half just started.
Yeah, by that.
Okay. Notre Dame over Indiana. That's big. We're going to continue the ACC Big Ten Challenge apparently. Okay.
Back here in Raleigh, North Carolina, the city of Oaks, NC State 32, Detroit 18, with 3:16 left in the first half. Let's take a look at some scores around the ACC. Pittsburgh, they will play NC State in their first ever ACC game just a couple weeks down the road. Winners over Youngstown State. Notre Dame over Indiana, and of course the big game everybody's watching out for, Kentucky and North Carolina. And the Tar Heels, a slim margin right now, they're up 1.
Yeah, this game's kind of been nip and tuck the whole day. It was, 33-30 at halftime. Kentucky, such a young team. North Carolina, they play well against top 10 opponents, and they are horrendous against everybody else. It's strange.
It's been a roller coaster.
It's incredible. They beat the #1 team in the country at the time, Michigan State, but yet you lose to schools like Belmont. For the ACC, maybe the ACC Big Ten Challenge, you got Notre Dame, Indiana, right? They continue that? Is that an extension of it?
Yeah. Well, that could be the tiebreaker. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Now you got it. They tied at 6-6. Now we got the 13th game, but big win for Notre Dame. Mike Bray getting Notre Dame back on track. They lost some games this year they shouldn't.
Jordan Vandenberg, first free throw is good. And Vandenberg, that's just the third free throw that he's shot all season. Remember, he's only played in the 4 games because of that grade 3 ankle sprain he had. And he maintains his .500 shooting clip, now 2 for 4 on the season for Vandenberg. Matthew Grant will try to initiate the offense for the Titans. At the half court, Bruinsma driving on Washington. Maybe a little shuffle of the feet there from Anton Wilson. Howard gets the screen all the way to the rim, and he does finish this one off. So now Detroit, they're 7 for 23 now from the field, shooting just better than 25%. NC State, on the other hand, they're shooting almost 50% at 12 for 25.
Yeah, if this keeps up, Detroit obviously not going to be able to come back in this one, but Detroit's get easier baskets. You're missing shots, take easier baskets, get closer, start penetrating. And sometimes you don't want to do that with a 7-footer inside and Jordan Vandenberg that blocks a lot of shots, but you got to attack him.
Lewis, little pull up. Oh, how about Washington skying high to get that one? He lost the handle on it. He was way up there near the top of the box. Bruinsma up no good, and the Pack will look to go in transition. Lewis Knocked away from him. No foul called, and here's Matt Grant the other way. Howard wide open from the wing, and it's good for 3. Juwan Howard.
Impressive little run here. 5-point, 5-0 run to cut it to 11 now, or excuse me, a 5-1 run with Jordan Vandenberg's foul shot. But, you know, Detroit right now just trying to settle things, trying to get this crowd under control.
Warren fouled. Shot won't go as he lands on the ground hard in a little grimace. A nice pass from the big man Vandenberg.
You watch, and of course, here's the kick out. You got to, Juwan Howard, you got to hit those. Okay, you're wide open for 3. Get the run going, get Detroit back in this. But oddly enough, for Jordan Vandenberg, has, you know, one of his attributes as a 7-footer is his ability to not only to pass. You're like, can the guy pass? Not turn the ball over. You know,
take care of it.
Assistant coach Bobby Lutz, who worked with them all offseason, man, he said he's a really proficient passer of the basketball. Not only does he find the open guy underneath and takes a little pride in it, he doesn't turn the ball over. And you got to appreciate that from a big man.
On the floor now for the Pack, it's Lewis, Freeman, Warren, Vandenberg, and Des Lee. Wilson with the basketball now. Bruinsma trying to get on the low block with Freeman. He's shown a variety of moves. He dumps it down low. Njoku, the jam and the foul. Oh, a strong move.
Njoku says, hey, shot blocker, 7-footer, I don't care. When NJ's ready to take it to the basket, he gets himself in position, says, feed me, I'm hungry. And he finishes with the Australian draped on his arm. NJ, that's a strong move to the basket.
And Njoku knocks down the free throw.
9 points.
And that's rare. He's only a 25% free throw shooter on the season.
You cut it to 9 points. Crowd's out of it. Get a little extra pressure from Detroit.
You know Coach Gottfried and the Wolfpack want to see their team finish off this half strong after they open up that lead. Still up 9 here as we're under a minute to play in the first half, and Lewis directs traffic. 10 on the shot clock. Pass tipped, and Grant aggressively will take it all the way to the rack. Warren got a piece of it. That basket's going to count.
Yep, that's some goaltending there. Detroit starting to apply a little pressure, got the turnover, got the steal, and you get the credit for the finish here after it comes off the glass and TJ Warren gets it. This extended pressure, and Mark Godfrey doesn't like what he's going to say. He don't like what he says. The extended pressure from Detroit is giving NC State some issues, some problems, and Mark Godfrey's going to try to get this thing back under control with 45 seconds to go. The lead's down to 7, and a lot of that's due to the pressure that not only Detroit's been able to apply, but also the fact that they've been able to finish. I mean, we've seen for the first part of this game, you know, you shoot 25%, you're not going to beat anybody. Well, it's because they can't finish around the basket, because they haven't been able, you know, to hit any three-point shots. They're able to finish, get a run. Obviously, the dunk by Njoku helps, gets the team motivated. But Detroit, everything about them is about their defensive pressure. Their defense is kind of the make or break. It's kind of like what the Virginia Cavaliers comes to mind. When your defense leads your team, okay, then, well, creating turnovers is a big part of it, and that's what they've been able to do against a Wolfpack team. Just doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. That
turnover was the 9th turnover of the game for the Wolfpack. They only averaged 9.4 for the entire season. But they come out of the timeout, they get a good look for their best player, Warren, and he finishes it.
That's
and
what you
now
do.
The lead's back to 9.
Get to the ACC's leading scorer and let him finish around the basket.
And NC State's going to play zone here.
Change up. It's a change up.
Detroit's going to hold for the last possession. Shot clock is off. 15 seconds left in this first half. Howard for 3. Short, no good. Rebound and a spin move by Gerard Williams, no. Still 5 seconds. No one can keep a hold of the ball. And time's going to go. Boy, what a chaotic play to end the first half, a frenetic play. And NC State will go into the locker room 37-28. Mark, your thoughts from the first half?
First half, it looked like NC State was going to run away with this, playing good defense, preventing the penetration by Detroit. Ray McCollum said, you know what, let's attack the basket. They've been able to do that. By them attacking the basket, they'll narrow that margin and get that lead tonight. That's manageable going into the second half.
All right, 9-point lead for the Wolfpack as we go to halftime. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say there was going to be like 20 seconds or what?
Perfect. All right. Give me an idea on the clock. How much time do I need to be back? All right, thanks.
And its three-story building welcomes visitors to the new Walk of Fame and History.
Okay, great. So we're going to do this tease.
With a dynamic new entry to KL. The seating for more than 5,000 is tight to the floor and creates a tremendous home court advantage for Wolfpack women's basketball, volleyball, wrestling, and gymnastics. The east and west lobbies have been expanded to nearly 40 feet for hospitality. Interior glass keeps fans connected to the on-court action. New retractable seating surrounds it. In the upper level, aisles will be white and handrails will be added. Fans will enjoy new restrooms, concessions, and merchandise stands. And Reynolds Coliseum.
Okay, so we're doing just that. Hey, you know, this is the score at halftime. And then, hey, Greg, the break after that, I'm just tossing it to the Reynolds video, and that's it. Is it going to be like a 10-second toss, or do I need to fill a lot of time there, or what? Okay, cool.
Reynolds Coliseum and Walk of Fame and History project will ensure this hallowed space remains the most cherished place on campus for students, faculty, and alumni, and continues to serve the Wolfpack Nation for generations to come.
Back here in Reynolds Coliseum, the home team, the NC State Wolfpack, up 37-28. Much more college basketball to come here on ESPN3 after the break. Okay, just a 10-second pitch to this video. And then is there a close after the video, or are we just going to go to break? Yeah, I think that would probably be the most simple. Ooh, it's a little warm in here. I am sweating a little bit. Just a little bit. Back here in Reynolds Coliseum, halftime festivities, a little musical chairs. And now we'll take a look. They're going to renovate Reynolds, and it's going to be a $40 million renovation. There's a pretty cool video. You should check it out.
From the time William Neal Reynolds Coliseum opened in 1949, more visitors have passed through its doors for more events than any on-campus athletics facility in the nation. Reynolds has hosted presidents, concerts, and assemblies of all variety. First and foremost, however, the house that Case built has been the home of NC State athletics, a place where ACC and national champions have lived, and the Wolfpack legacy was forged. Now in its 7th decade of dedicated service, it's time to breathe new life into this noisy den at the center of NC State's campus. Welcome to the Reynolds Coliseum and Walk of Fame and History Project. Glass doors and new windows flood light into the modern lobby. The new Grand Hall and its 3-story volume welcomes visitors to the new Walk of Fame and History. Fans proceed through an open corridor to the dynamic new entry to K-Yao Court. The seating bowl, for more than 5,000, is tight to the floor and creates a tremendous home court advantage for Wolfpack women's basketball, volleyball, wrestling, and gymnastics. The east and west lobbies have been expanded to nearly 40 feet for hospitality. Interior glass keeps fans connected to the on-court action. New retractable seating surrounds the court. In the upper bowl, aisles will be widened and handrails will be added. Fans will enjoy new restrooms, concessions, and merchandise stands. And Reynolds Coliseum will finally have air conditioning. Expansive new concourses connect the seating bowl to the Walk of Fame and History, a prominent place to recognize the greatest from all sports to ever wear the red and white. The inviting space will encourage visitors to linger and learn about the rich tradition of the Wolfpack. The Grand Hall will also host receptions and gatherings of all types for the campus community. The Reynolds Coliseum and Walk of Fame and History Project will ensure this hallowed space remains the most cherished place on campus for students, faculty, and alumni, and continues to serve the Wolfpack Nation for generations to come.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm ready.
So some things that stand out to me, the Pack, they're shooting 25% from the bonus sphere. They're shooting 40% in this game, 6 for 15, so that's good.
Yep.
The young beast Freeman has 7 boards already. Warren's leading the way scoring, but the 9 turnovers, I mean, that's what they average per game. So just like you're talking about, that extended defense for Detroit is paying off. Juwan Howard's leading the way for them, 9 points. But as a team, they're only shooting 34.5%. I mean, NC State holding them to under 35% shooting.
Am I saying his name right? Ray McCollum?
McCallum. Yeah.
McCallum?
Yeah.
We'll go McCallum.
But on the boards, NC State winning 22 to 16.
Yep.
We haven't seen Anya yet. I do want to talk about the rotation at some point. We didn't see hardly any of Barber because he picked up that second foul early.
All right, cool.
And we're going to roll from highlights right into stats, yeah? Okay. After we talk about stats for a little bit, well, you don't, not necessarily count us out, but kind of just tell me to wrap it up.
Do we know who the highlights are of? Do we know who the highlights are of? Awesome.
Freestyle.
Go freestyle.
Back here in historic Reynolds Coliseum here in Raleigh, North Carolina on the campus of NC State. The Wolfpack leading by 9 at halftime. Andrew Sanders along with Mark Thomas. And we'll take a look at first half highlights and NC State. TJ Warren, a nice feed to Vandenberg.
Yeah, you want to get Jordan Vandenberg underneath, but it's more been the TJ Warren show. He's a leading scorer, he's a lead rebounder, but also a guy that can get everybody involved. And, the thing about Detroit, it's about pressure. It's about creating turnovers. 9 turnovers by the Wolfpack in the first half. That's what they averaged all year. TJ Warren kind of settled the ship there. And, of course, Ralston Turner, the three-point assassin. NC State shooting 40% from three-point range. Hadn't seen that all year. This is as good of a three-point shooting game as we've seen this entire year. But Ralston Turner, I mean, as long as you got a guy that can hit threes and they can move the ball up and down the floor, the Wolfpack look like they'll be able to secure another victory.
A beautiful lob. A SportsCenter top 10 nominee from Warren to Vandenberg. Turner knocked down 3 threes, and like you said, 40%. The Pack were 6 of 15 from the bonus sphere in the first half. Yeah, they really had it going.
And the thing about Detroit, when they were able to bring it back, you saw the 3, you saw the interior passing. A lot of it, aside from the 3, was the driving and the penetrating, getting the ball into the paint, attacking. The more you attack the paint, the more opportunities you create for your offense, for Ray McCallum's offense for Detroit. And, of course, you see the field goal percentage that we talked about, and what I'm going to focus on is 6 of 15 from three-point range. Look, if you face a team that's going to run a lot of zone, okay, that's going to get them out of it. Now, Detroit throws a lot of junk defenses, creates a lot of different, pressure by a lot of different, man, matchup zone. And I think if the Wolfpack continue to turn the basketball over, well, that's what allowed Detroit to kind of stick around in this game. The rebounding, NC State 22-16. A lot of that is because you do have the great rebounder in none bigger than Leonard Freeman right now, a guy that's really found his way as the number 4, kind of playing off the 7-footer Jordan Vandenberg.
Yeah, Freeman had 7 boards in the first half. All right, when we come back, we'll have second half action from Reynolds Coliseum. Okay, when we're back, and this is the first coach's called timeout is a full timeout. We're going to go out for that, yeah? Okay, just making sure. Just try to remind me or have Brandon let me know just in case, but I mean, me and Mark are on it. We'll remember, right, Mark?
Yeah.
We got it. We'll remember. Any requests? I mean, you're doing a fine job from what I can see, Greg. I mean, yeah, it was at a blistering pace. It's only been an hour since we started.
We'll see. I hope.
And halftime's almost over.
Just, don't want to disappoint the wives.
First half flew by.
Ray Natilli. Nobody loves Ray Natilli more than Ray Natilli. Interesting fact about Ray. Met a exotic dancer and married her.
I can't even hear you.
You can't even hear me?
Yeah, I got you turned up now.
Oh, okay.
It's like, man, the band. It's because the band. $30 back. I want to talk about Cat Barber not playing, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Bring that up. Andrew Sanders, Mark Thomas back with you here from historic Reynolds Coliseum. NC State 37 and Detroit 28. The score at halftime. Detroit kind of drawing a little closer to the Wolfpack, cutting it to 9 right before the break. Mark, foul trouble was a little bit of a problem for the Wolfpack in the first half. We didn't see Cat Barber towards the latter half of the first half.
Yeah.
Because he picked up those 2 quick fouls, and then it was going to be Lewis the rest of the way.
Yeah, and Cat Barber gives the Wolfpack that one thing that they need, which is a guy who can penetrate, can take things inside that you really, Detroit doesn't have anybody that can defend him. Now, you pick up 3 fouls. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if he doesn't even get the chance to start the second half. But looks like they're probably going to do that. But yeah, Tyler Lewis comes in the game experienced and is able to distribute. Now, the one thing you don't want to see, the fact that they've got 9 turnovers, making a lot of mistakes, especially with having Tyler Lewis in the game. On the other side, you got Detroit that really had a strong finish to their half. And I got to believe that you got a coach in Ray McCallum telling his guys, hey, start this second half the way we were able to finish that first half. Continue to attack the basket. I think you're going to start to see a little more token pressure where they started picking NC State up, kind of three-quarter pressure with a little bit of trap, extending that zone, really forcing NC State to pass over their zone, which typically you don't see with a lot of teams that are trying to defend a team that doesn't shoot the three very well. Pack shot the three well enough that they're going to expand it out and make them pass over it.
On those 9 NC State turnovers, Detroit was only able to generate 6 points off of those, so they forced the turnovers. They like to get more live ball turnovers and be able to kind of generate that into offense because Detroit was only shooting, they shot 10 of 29 in the first half. That's under 35%. So, Coach Godfrey, and we talked to Coach Lutz, they were pleased in the win over Long Beach State that they scored 76 against the zone, but they weren't pleased about giving up 66.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is continue with their pressure as well. And I know for Mark Godfrey, he definitely let his guys hold it at halftime, trying to get them ready to go for the second half defensively.
And Barber is back on the court here with the 2 fouls to start the second half. And he drives right down the lane and gets the roll.
That's one thing you can't defend if you're Detroit. They don't have anybody fast enough and quick enough to defend a guy who can penetrate like that. They're going to have to go back to the zone.
Well, there might not be anybody in the ACC. We'll
that's
have to
true,
see.
too.
He is a very quick athlete. Brundage working on Barber. It's blocked by Vandenberg. He tips it out of bounds. No, last touch by Detroit. And you see Vandenberg, he gets those 3 blocks per game in the last 4. We'll take another look here at the drive by Barber.
Cat Barber with the crossover, and Mark Gottfried said he's faster with the basketball in his hands than he is without it.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's possible. Not that the ball's heavy, but he's one of those unique guys. When he's dribbling the basketball, he's quicker and faster than he is without it.
Vandenberg working on Njoku, and he'll kick it back out. 17 on the shot clock. This NC State team, they had a lot of turnover from last year, losing those 4 big players, but they are a really athletic team. And Barber lost the handle, tried to drop it to Vandenberg, and it's another Wolfpack turnover. Jared Williams to the rack, and a tip finish. Goes to Njoku.
Detroit coming out with a little more jump than the Wolfpack. Cat Barber just can't find the penetrating Jordan Vandenberg.
Warren hacked, and the foul. Chance for an old-fashioned three-point play for T.J. Warren. He's already got 15 points here with 18:21 left in the second half.
The big man Njoku tries to defend him, and he's got a couple of dunks down there on the other end against the 7'1" Vandenberg, and T.J. Warren taking it back at NJ. And the thing about T.J. Warren that's so unique about him is there's a lot of guys that can score as he misses his only foul shot to get the three-point play, but he can finish so well around the basket, has incredible touch, knows how to spin it on the backboard, and he's so tough to defend when he's penetrating.
Just the body control to be able to absorb the contact from the 6'10" Njoku and still finish. Howard with a barrage of moves. Now he'll shoot for 3 and hits it. Juwan Howard Jr., not really his shot this season. He does take a lot of three-point shots, but
doesn't hit him. He hit that one.
Wise,
that was impressive. The little underhand crossover, then the step back for the 3.
Oh, that was nothing but net. So for Howard, he's now got 12 points. Warren, pretty move, and nearly had back-to-back bucket and the foul.
Getting back to you get the crossover through the legs, the step back, get the screen there from Njoku, and that's just pretty. I mean, that's indefensible. And what is he shooting? 20-something% from
27% from the three-point line.
Doesn't hit a lot of those, but we've seen him hit 2 this game, both of them, because you get open. I mean, you're wide open. You got to be able to drop them.
Warren knocks down both free throws, and he's now 6 of 7 from the line. We talked a little bit earlier about he's improved from the free throw line, and that's something that's going to help him. He's leading the ACC in scoring right now, and if he can get contact like that, as this ball's a turnover. Howard calling for timeout. Did he get it? Yes, he did. That's the first timeout called, and we will take a break. 17:25 left in the second half. NC State up 10 as we take another look. You said no replay, but then you showed it, so. It's okay, Greg. It's okay.
No replay, except this one. No replay, but here's one just in case. We're not even going to give you the whole replay, just the opening shot.
The good news is we remembered to go away. That's good. Is that one of those glasses that changes colors?
Yes, it is.
Depending on the temperature? I used to love those when I was a kid. Okay. Hey, he's only a 27% shooter from 3. It is hot in here, man. Mark Godfrey and his team huddled up here. First timeout of the second half, and the Wolfpack are up 10 over the Detroit Titans. Andrew Sanders and Mark Thomas with you here from historic Reynolds Coliseum. Mark, this NC State team, they come back not necessarily every year, but since they moved away in 1999 to what is now the PNC Arena, they come back and play games here in Reynolds. They played 12 ball games. They are a perfect 12-0 here in Reynolds Coliseum since they've left. And Mark Godfrey is a perfect 3-0, so they're looking to continue that here against Detroit.
Yeah, and the games they're playing here, what Heritage Day is what they call it, being able to come back, play in the old barn as they called Reynolds Coliseum, but it's a great atmosphere. I used to hear from guys, although I don't believe this to be true, but they're forgiving rims. It allows you to hit some shots, but get the crowd involved. And right now it's kind of a lackluster crowd because Detroit's coming out with a little more jump, although they haven't been able to run away with some of the opportunities that they've had, but having a little more jump than the Wolfpack starting the second half.
43-33. Williams from the wing. He's marked by Warren. He'll take him off the dribble. Nice move by the freshman, but he can't get the roll to go. No forgiving rim there for Jared Williams. And Barber will dribble things out here. 25 on the shot clock. So Mark Gottfried starts off the second half with the same lineup he had starting off the ball game.
Here's the adjustment Cat Barber has to have.
Pulls up, 17-footer, no good, and Njoku hauls down the rebound.
Comes down to that half court, and then you realize it's not man-to-man. It's it's like a matchup zone. Got to be able to adjust.
Bruinsma working inside, and a foul called as he attacked number 14, Jordan Vandenberg. Bruinsma's been very aggressive in this game. He's been going at the NC State big man.
Well, and he should. I mean, the thing about Jordan Vandenberg is he's not going to defend them out at the top of the key. He may have drug his feet a little bit, but take it down low. Go after those guys because
Howard off the curl. No. Owenu comes away with the board again, and another foul call going up strong.
That's Jordan Vandenberg's third foul. Picked up 2 this time like down the floor. We talked in the pregame about B.J. Anya possibly getting some minutes, but Jordan Vandenberg, the last one was a little touchy on that one as well. But hey, all that being said, it's 3 fouls. He can play with 3 fouls. Has done really well with not only redirecting but blocking shots this season without fouling. But you're wondering if Mark Godfrey to go ahead and make the move to bring in his freshman big man. And nope, we're going to bring in Kyle Washington, who's also a freshman as well.
And Washington had a great first half. Owenu, who's an 85% free throw shooter, makes the second. And Washington will come in for Jordan Vandenberg. Kyle Washington played 11 first half minutes, had a couple of points, an assist. That great touchdown pass, as you called it, Mark, all the way down the floor. Lee for three, good from the corner. He also chipped in 4 rebounds, so Washington really played well.
That was a big three. Detroit, there was some confusion on their end between Juwan Howard and Matthew Grant as to what defense they wanted to run. It was almost a matchup zone, left a wide open Desmond Lee, buried the three.
And it's good for NC State to see Desmond Lee making those shots. Like you said, he was only 3 of 20 coming into this game, but he is a three-point shooter. He's just got to shoot his way out of the slump. To the rack, no good for Williams. He wanted the roll. He got the foul. And it'll go against TJ Warren. And with that, we will take a timeout here in Raleigh. The Wolfpack and Desmond Lee spotting up from the corner, giving NC State a 12-point lead. What time's your party, Mark?
7 to 10. So
10's when the party just gets started, man.
Exactly.
Okay, so I got to do this read, and then we'll talk about Jimmy V a little bit.
Yep.
Greg, is there a graphic? Is there a graphic that accompanies this? Okay. Back here in Raleigh, North Carolina, NC State up 12 after the first timeout of the second half. Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research. Help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of donations to fund cancer research. Operating expenses paid for by the endowment fund. So every dollar that you give goes directly to help cancer research. Just go to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V. That's 1-800-4-JIMMY V. Jim Valvano, obviously the legendary coach here at NC State, coached some great teams here inside Reynolds Coliseum. And, you know, we urge you to donate to the Jimmy V Foundation. Obviously, cancer is something that touches all of our lives. All of us know someone that has been affected by it,
yep.
if we're not affected by it ourselves. And just really a great, it's raised so much money over the years.
It's been powerful. It's been powerful. And, you know, you think all the way back to Jimmy V, the former coach here at NC State, and his emotional, not only his emotional speech at the ESPYs, his emotional speech when he came back here to an NC State game, did some work, color analyst work for ABC, ESPN, and he was loved in this area, but more importantly, loved by so many people that have benefited from the cancer research of the foundation that he started. An incredible coach that has inspired even after he's passed.
An incredible coach, an incredible person. A little pressure from Detroit, and it's broken by the Wolfpack. Never forget him running around that court in '83, just looking for somebody to hug. Warren slams one down.
The TJ Warren goes baseline, elevates, and is able to finish.
What a jam from TJ Warren. Bruinsma driving the other way. And a pretty little hook shot after the spin. A nice basket by Evan Bruinsma.
Evan Bruinsma comes right back with the points. TJ Warren's taking it upon himself. If you want to finish with him in his basketball in his hands, and it's a 3-2 kind of a zone that, like I said, that what they're going to do is try to spread it out, jump passing lanes. You got to find those secret holes, those pockets, in that zone, and that's what T.J. Warren was able to do. And then he put the foot on the accelerator towards the basket. Yeah,
once he caught it in that pocket, like you said, he just went aggressively up and skied over Juwan Howard Jr. for the jam. So 48-37. Lee open for three on the wing. No good. Fight for the rebound, and is last touched by Leonard Freeman and NC State.
I think Detroit, especially with Jordan Vanderberg, the big guy out of the game, Detroit has done a great job with Bruinsma and everybody surrounding Leonard Freeman. Leonard Freeman is their main rebounder. You put a body on him, that allows everybody else to free up a little bit.
And Des Lee called for the blocking foul, and that's, again, the rules have changed this year, that freedom of movement. They really want the game to be able to flow a little bit more. And right there, an instance of one of those fouls that might not have been called last year, and this year they're really trying to emphasize it.
Yeah, the tough thing there is there wasn't body contact, and I think that's what Desmond Lee was frustrated about.
Pretty move by Williams all the way to the cup.
Jared Williams taking it to the hole and able to get that reach with the left hand. If you can finish with the left hand as a right-hander, that does throw off your defender.
So Detroit again showing zone. Barber no good for three. And Owenu comes away with the glass cleaner. Howard is open from the corner, no good. And the rebound goes to Warren, but he lost the handle on it. Now he picks it back up past Williams. Numbers for the pack. Warren! The one-handed flush. Detroit trying to attack the other way. Howard. And he is fouled.
What an incredible movement from one end to the other. T.J. Warren with the finish. And the crowd's not going to like that one a whole lot as far as the foul call. Looked like a travel when Juwan Howard first caught the basketball. But T.J. Warren getting the ball out in transition, then able to finish with the dunk.
And in transition, you give the ball up, a lot of times you'll get rewarded. It comes right back to you. But then Detroit, you can see they've done this throughout the game, really. If NC State has been able to score a bucket in transition, they look to push it right back the other way.
Yeah, the crowd's into it. Detroit, of course, they're a very strong foul shooting team as well. They're not letting NC State run away with this, keeping around 9-10 point lead. And for the Wolfpack, you're going to get a whole bunch of different defenses. And if you're not hitting your three-point shot, what they're going to allow, or to have a couple of turnovers here or there, who knows? Detroit possibly cuts it to even slimmer margin, and that's what they're hoping for right now.
Lee in the wing. Washington really calling for the ball in the post right now. At about 6'10", he's got a great wingspan. This one's thrown into the backcourt. Warren's going to have to hustle here. And what he does is what a heady play by T.J. Warren. He lets Grant hit the floor, and Grant's momentum carried him out of bounds.
That is incredible. That is a sophomore, a wily veteran sophomore, who allows the ball to get touched and then taken by Grant, who touches the inbounds line, T.J. Warren.
And he immediately pointed to the baseline. He knew exactly what he was doing. Well planned and well executed by T.J. Warren. That's a play that I don't know if I've seen that.
No, I haven't either. But give T.J. Warren a lot of credit. Just prevented the turnover from Desmond Lee, who immediately comes out of the game, and Ralston Turner checks in. Mark Godfrey understands this is a turning point in the game. You turn it over, miss some shots here or there. Detroit has the ability to close the gap quick.
Warren aggressively to the bucket, and a blocking foul called, and TJ will go back to the line to shoot two. He's improved his free throw shooting, and he's been able to get there today.
You don't get that charge call. They thought the little jump circle around the rim would slow down the guys trying to take charges. That didn't do it. Now they basically said, okay, when a guy's attacking the basket, the moment he stops his dribble and starts that motion upwards, you have to be set at that point, meaning way early. And that has cut down on the number of charges being called this year. Charges being called this year in college basketball down 37%, which is an incredible number. So that is a little more effective as far as guys still being able to attack the basket.
Shot up, no good. Foul called on Anton Wilson, as he came over the back of T.J. Warren, who hauled in the board. And Warren now with 23 points, so he's bettered his average, his ACC leading average. He's already above that, and there's still 12:30 to play here in the second half. Tyler Lewis running the offense. Little lob up, not a good lob from Freeman.
Oh, they gave him the jump ball. They gave him the jump ball. Looked like Leonard Freeman was a little overly aggressive, frustrated about turning the basketball over. And Mark Godfrey a little animated too, okay? You got to help out these referees a little bit. You can't just tell them, you got to show them. You got to be expressive as to what they need to do. Ray McCollum, actually, he's out of the jacket. He's ready to be expressive.
Well, it can get pretty warm here in Reynolds. Howard with the shot fake. NC State has moved to a zone now. And Wilson will shoot for three. He's a 40% three-point shooter on the year. That one won't go. And here comes Turner inside to Washington. And a reach-in foul called on Wilson. And with that, we will have the under 12 timeout. So Kyle Washington will be going to the line when we come back. NC State up 11 here in the second half.
Men's basketball team back in action at the PNC Arena next Saturday, the 21st against.
They're kind of, just like you were saying, they're kind of. I think it's a key juncture as well because
it could really.
It's kind of comfortable, but it's not.
It's not too crazy for them to come back. What is these?
Keeping it in.
What's
here.
the stats? What's the stats? The stats here at NC State. What's the website?
You can probably go to ESPN and go to Game Tracker, I would imagine. Okay. What was the conference game? Virginia taking Miami, Maryland. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna. They're using CBS Game Tracker. Live stats, CBS Game Tracker. All right.
Pep band going here in Reynolds Coliseum. NC State up 11. Andrew Sanders and Mark Thomas are with you here. Let's take a look now, Mark, at the ACC standings. And Virginia Tech and Maryland 1-0, but obviously the ACC, as you add Pittsburgh, you add Syracuse, Louisville coming in next year, probably will be the best conference in basketball this year.
Yeah, and the reason being is not only you bring in Syracuse, Pittsburgh, and Notre Dame, as we saw Notre Dame take out Indiana this year, or today, but you've got teams that are top feeders. They're going to be tough to handle. I mean, you talk about Jim Boeheim and Syracuse, #2 team in the country. Duke, North Carolina being able to handle, Kentucky this year. Talk about the potential of 6, 7 teams at times ranked in the top 25 in the ACC that you're going to have to go through. So definitely a gauntlet of teams that, you say you lose 4, 5, maybe even 6 games and you're still ranked. That's pretty incredible.
So the freshman Kyle Washington will go to the line now. Washington, the 6'10 freshman from Champlin, Michigan. And he pours in the first one. Washington, a top 100 recruit to go along with Kat Barber and B.J. Anya in that class for Mark Godfrey.
Let's not forget Leonard Freeman as well with the rebounding that he's brought in. He was actually the undersung freshman of all 4 of them, and definitely has found his way not only starting lineup, but leading this team with rebounding.
Bruinsma in the corner. Pack trying to trap. Grant for three, and Washington skies up high to pull down the board. And you see he was looking for that outlet again. Lewis will slow things up as the Titans did a nice job getting back defensively. Lewis, little contact by Grant. Freeman at the elbow, gives to Turner. And it's good. Ralston Turner, another three. That's 4 for him tonight.
Yeah, step back three. That's why, you know, he comes here to NC State. You need a guy that can be long and shoot the three. And he's been pretty good at it this year. Offensive foul by Detroit.
And they call Owenu on a clear out. And let's get another look here. Ralston Turner, little handoff from Freeman.
Yep.
And he buries it.
Got a pretty jump shot. We were talking about that point in the game where things can kind of go either way. Around the, you know, here we are at the 10-minute mark. You got a 16-point lead, and it was at 9. It looks like NC State now hit some shots, but also being able to finish on the defensive end as well.
And it's interesting to look at the rotation for Mark Gottfried. Obviously, it's dictated a little bit by foul situation, but Vandenberg not on the court right now, Barber not on the court, and NC State has been able to push the lead out a little bit. And it looks like NC State is going to be able to play probably 8 players. And he also said he wanted to get some minutes for Anya, which would be 9. So we got to figure out the rotation.
Yeah,
here.
and BJ Anya, hadn't seen the floor yet today, and a lot of that is dictated by how close this game has really been played all day. Tyler Lewis right there taking advantage of the new rules. You know, you can still hand check a guy. You know, put the hand check. You can't impede his movement. So what Mark Gottfried's teaching in practice is the second the guy puts his hand or his arm bar on you, drive. You know, force yourself to move into him,
right.
Because then if he, you know, just the natural reaction of the defender is to use that arm, then the foul's going to be called.
Howard to the bucket, reverse layup won't go. Bruinsma pulls down the offensive board, and he's stripped by Warren. Warren coming the other way. Turner back to TJ, and they can't get the lob to go. Pretty pass by Williams the other way, and Howard an uncontested layup. And Detroit showing that pace. They've been able to get up the floor a little bit. They cut it to 14 here as the clock ticks under 10 minutes.
Pretty pass by Williams, cross court, and the finish by Howard.
Lewis being hounded by Grant. They'll look to get the ball to Warren. He can't score it this time. Washington, nearly the rebound, slips out of his hands. And again, Detroit trying to get the ball back up the court. Njoku, a pretty 10-footer from the corner. NC State gave him that shot, and he shows off the range. So a call timeout by Coach Ray McCallum and Detroit.
And that, you know, you'd look at Detroit able to push the ball up the floor and able to finish, starting to get a couple of buckets here. You always wonder, you say, well, okay, why does a coach call a timeout when you have a couple of points? And the reason you do it on the road is because not only has the crowd been taken out of it, now the crowd has been taken out of it for an extended period of time. So and the reason I got this, at Mike Krzyzewski was the king of this. He got notorious for this over the last decade, which is you take the crowd out of it when you're on the road during this timeout. And now the crowd, I mean, right now it's a little lackluster. NC State just desperately wanting to get that score back up. Had a 16-point lead, but it also allows Ray McCallum to talk to his guys on the Detroit bench and say, all right, let's create a little pressure. Full court press. 1-2 turnovers here and some points the other way, which they've been able to get some points off of turnovers, and then they're right back in this game.
57-45. Under 9:30 left. And the crowd tries to get into it with chance of Wolfpack as they work the ball around this Titan zone. It down low to Washington. He'll kick it out. Nice swing. Turner, another three. It's good again.
That's the dagger. Hey, you want to get a team out of a zone, you hit that wing, the wing hitting the three. That'll pull you out of that zone quick.
Back the other way, Anton Wilson.
Right back with points.
A high arching shot over Kyle Washington, and he answers.
Detroit's not going away. They're not going away. They're telling the NC State, you have to beat us. And you get Anton Wilson in the corner, the mid-range jumper. I mean, that was sweet. They're not going anywhere.
Turner. Again! Ralston Turner is on fire here in Reynolds Coliseum.
Mark got through and sent it in Desmond Lee. He just told him, hey, don't get Ralston. Do not get Ralston Turner. Get anybody. Just don't take him out of the game. He is starting to really roll.
If he's knocking him down like that, you got to keep feeding him. Bruinsma, he pump faked about 3 times, and that was 1 time too many, a shuffle of the feet. And it's a turnover. And Desley does come in for TJ Warren.
You know, Ralston Turner's starting to get a little winded. And so, you know, he's sending in Desmond Lee. Ralston hits 2 threes. Markovi immediately runs over like, hey, don't get anyone you want. Just don't get 22. He's doing just fine.
His shooting doesn't look very winded right now. He is unconscious. Lewis.
Detroit goes back to a man. They got to stop that three-point shooting.
Yeah, NC State has effectively shot him out of it. Turner, little floater. That's good as well. Ralston Turner pouring it in now. And he's got 17 points by my count. Little pass down low, broken up. Williams will attack the rim and scoops it in with the left hand.
Detroit was starting to get a little sloppy with the basketball. Now they're getting it back under control, and for the Wolfpack, you know, they've got the high post offense to be able to attack the man-to-man.
Brundage shadowing Lewis, and he gave him the arm bar there.
They throw in that left hand. You're going to impede a guy from moving to the basket. You can't get inside, but Ralston Turner, he has been the key to this Wolfpack run. An incredible mid-range jump shot, shooting the threes. Ralston Turner giving the Wolfpack 65-49 lead.
I didn't realize he picked up his 4th. I thought he only had 3. It's my fault. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah,
yes, definitely.
Yes. Turner's, hey, how many does Turner have now? Is it 17?
I have him for 17. Does it say on there?
But I can't get his thing.
Yeah, he does have 20.
He's got 20. Okay. He's got 20.
So he and Warren are above 20.
I think that's a season high for him.
I think so too.
I can't remember.
It's got to be. Definitely he. Yeah.
That's 4-3.
No, he's got 5 or 6 here. Season high. Back here in historic Reynolds Coliseum, I'm Andrew Sanders along here with Mark Thomas. NC State up 16 points right now with 7:15 to go, and a big reason why. Ralston Turner, he is filling it up right now. He's got 20 points here.
Not only the 20 points, but the 6 threes in this game, the mid-range jumper. I mean, he's a true shooter, meaning that when he gets going, he gets in that rhythm, kind of the leg kick and the extension. When he starts feeling it, I mean, there's really, I don't know how many guys you put in his face. He can score from any point on the floor. 20 points, that's the most he's had this year. He had 9 points at the half, but he's really come out this second half and threw a wrench in everything that Detroit was trying to do. The matchup zone, the 3-2, trying to spread them out. Well, you hit that wing 3. Okay, now you got to go to a man-to-man. Okay, well, you go to a man-to-man. Ralston takes it to the middle, is able to hit the runner in the paint. Now they're indefensible.
Lewis shooting 1 and 1. The first is good, and Ralston Turner the 20 points. That is a season high for him. Previous high was 13, which he's done 3 times this season, most recently against Northwestern in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Lewis, a rare miss from the free throw line there. Already 9 team fouls for Detroit, so NC State will be in the double bonus from here on out with over 7 minutes left. A pretty drive by Carlton Brundage. A high arcing shot off the glass.
Trying to get his team going back in it.
So now for NC State, TJ Warren over 20 points. He has 23, and Turner sitting on 20 as well. So those two combining for 43 of the Wolfpack's 66 points. Washington got to get rid of it, and he finds an outlet in Desmond Lee.
They immediately put Juwan Howard on Ralston Turner. Then the turnover.
Wilson rips it away. Brundage the other way, up and under. No good, but a foul called. And he will go to the line to shoot 2.
The second foul on Desmond Lee, but a little sloppy play by NC State. And look, when you can finish around the basket and tries to go high off the glass, then when you can finish around the basket, that creates a lot of problems. And this, to me, this is what will separate Detroit this season from Ray McCallum and his staff, is his team's ability to hit foul shots. I think they're 8th in the country right now. They're
over 78%.
Credible foul shooting team. They're going to call a lot more this year. Now Detroit goes with a full court trapping press.
And that's an easy foul call, as Lewis just split the double team, and that looked like they were playing, back on the playground days, playing Red Rover. And just trying to break the armbar of both Bruinsma and Juwan Howard right there.
And Bruinsma decided,
and they weren't letting him through it.
Red Rover's not coming over.
Right.
Locked them up.
So Lewis will go back to the line, and that's usually good news for NC State. Tyler Lewis, on the season, he came in shooting 91% on the year, and he knocks down the first. And now Jordan Vandenberg with those 3 fouls. He will come back in with 6:26 left, and Kyle Washington will take a seat. And Kyle Washington giving the Pack some good minutes here.
Detroit's got to make a run right here. The game can't get too far away from them. They got to be able to make a run.
Brundage with the flop, and no call. Bruinsma in some trouble, drops it down to Njoku, and he shuffled the feet.
That was created by Jordan Vandenberg, the 7'1" Australian. He gets back in the game, and it kind of shocks you at first to see him up there in the shuffling of the feet.
We saw Njoku in the first half. He got a couple of aggressive, strong slams, but that time got a little worried. Little lob to Vandenberg, and a wise play by number 14. Just to not force things and set up the offense. Lewis, right wing, trying to get a screen from Vandenberg. And his pass goes the way he wanted Freeman to cut to the basket. And a little miscommunication there.
Well, just disjointed right now for the Wolfpack, but Detroit, this is where they're going to, if they want to stay in this game, you got to get a 15-point lead, 5 minutes to go. You got to, you don't need to press, you don't need to shoot threes and start, jacking up shots that you shouldn't, but you got to get in your rhythm with your offense. Then you got to create some turnovers with that press they're putting on the Pack.
Williams driving, gives it up to Njoku, strong to the rim, and Vandenberg with a scowl after that. He thought he got a clean block, and he's going to be charged with his 4th foul, and just like that, Coach Gottfried gets Kyle Washington back up off the bench.
Yeah, I like it that the big man is not intimidated, but you send up that left arm to block the shot, the right one, the right arm is the one that created the foul. But you got a couple of guys in foul trouble right now. Now you have Jordan Vandenberg has got to come out of the game with 4. Cat Barber, who's really been ineffective this game with his 4th, early foul troubles with 3, now with 4. And for Detroit, you got a foul shooter that's not their best foul shooter right now at the line, but they got to create turnovers with their press. They got to make it uncomfortable for the Pack.
So right now, ball handlers on the floor. This one's tipped away, and Juwan Howard Jr. comes up with it. Can they turn it into 3? Williams off the mark. Njoku, no good. Bruinsma scrapping for the ball. 3 opportunities, and the Titans capitalize off the turnover. Desley weaving through traffic all the way to the cup. No, Warren with the follow. Both teams on the offensive glass here.
One thing the press will also do is speed up the offense of NC State, trying to get the ball off the floor. Didn't need to do that, but they were able to finish.
Brundage can't get that one to go, but he is fouled, and it's going to go against Tyler Lewis. And for Lewis, that is his third. And the 8th team foul for NC State.
After a pretty clean first half defensively, NC State trying to get the ball out in transition. That hadn't been able to do a lot of that this game. But the other team starts to press you a little bit, trying to create turnovers, which they got. The thought in your mind is get it across half court as fast as possible, and then all of a sudden you have numbers.
12 NC State turnovers. Brundage misses that free throw, and Freeman comes away with it. And they're going to say it's Detroit ball. And a shake of the head from the Wolfpack. Let's see if we can get a replay here. Freeman rips the ball away.
Yep, and they're going to have to go to the monitor for that one as well.
It was tough to see from where we were sitting what happened.
Yep, Leonard Freeman gets the rebound, and then he spins out to clear out. Now, again, the rule is when he cleared out, of course, the Detroit player, they've already a couple of times went to the ground. They didn't call anything because, as you termed it properly, a flop. But if there is contact to the head, then what you will see here is the and one, meaning the flagrant one, which is they're going to get foul shots as well as get the basketball back. And that's what the officials are looking into the monitor right now to see if that elbow actually did contact the head.
So this is a big swing right here as NC State up 13. They had the ball. Freeman trying to get a Detroit player off his back, and well, he succeeded in that, but it might be a flagrant foul here. We'll just have to see as he cleared out. And they're going to take a nice long look at it on the monitor.
I talked to the replay official who were with them in the first half, and they said if there is contact, but it was, that either way you shouldn't, as long as there's contact, as long as you turn and you make contact, that's a flagrant.
He has no idea that Jared Williams is there.
Right,
but it looked like he caught him for sure.
They're almost forced to call it.
And so Coach Gottfried going to get an explanation here.
And when you see Mark Gottfried, the head coach of NC State, getting the explanation, Ray McCollum as well, also getting the explanation, a lot of times that's because they say, well, they're going to have to call it. I mean, they're trying to, with what they did a couple of years ago, prevent that type of movement from guys down low. They're throwing elbows and
it's a rule that's generated for player safety.
Right, so they're gonna shoot the shot, get 2 shots, and then they're gonna get the basketball back. So this could potentially be a 4, maybe even a 5-point swing. And you're talking about a crucial point in the game when we talked about it 6 minutes. Well, now, as the first one does go down, you're talking about a 4-point swing to get it to single digits.
Williams misses the second. He's an 86% free throw shooter on the year, but he only comes up with 1 out of 2 there. But still, the lead is now 12, and Detroit will have the basketball.
NC State going to a zone out of that timeout. That's a good changeup for them, basically forcing Detroit to find a 3-point shooter, which they're trying to reset right now and find him.
Grant directing traffic. Here's Howard in the right corner, working on Freeman. He'll good for 3. He pulled the trigger for 3.
There's your 4-point swing.
Yep. Even with the missed free throw, a huge momentum shift here. And the pressure from Detroit bothering NC State a little bit. But Tyler Lewis so calm with the basketball, and he'll settle things down. TJ Warren is 25 points tonight. Lee strong to the rack, and it's blocked by Njoku, and a walk. A travel called as Grant, and he hauled down the rebound. He lost his footing.
Sometimes a bad shot is the first in a break. And then for Desmond Lee, I mean, I understand the frustration trying to take it hard to the rim. And, as I've said all game, I like that. That potentially could have been a bad shot and a turnover that led to a break.
And Grant there landing on the foot of Njoku. That's an easy way to turn an ankle there. He looks like he's all right. But the travel gives the ball back to the Wolfpack here. Up by 9 as we're under 4 minutes to go in the second half. Lee will penetrate the zone, and a reach-in foul called. So Desmond Lee attacking the rim hard. NC State has a 9-point lead as we take our final break of the second half.
And at the conclusion of tonight's game, Jersey Mike's will be distributing commemorative color change cups as you leave the Coliseum. Bring that cup in.
Good job handling that whole, that's twice they've gone to the monitor. They haven't made it easy on us in this broadcast,
Yeah.
Get 3 unlimited refills with the purchase of a soda.
Okay, we're going to go with Detroit first, or? Okay. Oh. Okay, so we'll look at Detroit first. And Wright State is their first Horizon League game. Yeah, let's not stay on theirs for too long because they don't have anybody to talk about on their slate.
You got at Tennessee and Missouri.
Yeah.
That I think at this point they are undefeated.
Then ACC
Yeah,
play
ACC
starts. They open up with the new guys, Pittsburgh and at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Trip to South Bend. Hey, welcome back to Raleigh, North Carolina. NC State and Detroit in a tight one here. 9-point lead for the Wolfpack as we head down the stretch of the second half. Andrew Sanders alongside Mark Thomas. Mark, let's take a look at Detroit and their upcoming games.
Yeah, upcoming games. Of course, they got a couple of road trips before they start in the Horizon League, but more importantly for them, they want to be an NCAA tournament team. How do you do that? You got to beat the likes of Akron, Bowling Green. You get some, Indiana Tech, but it's really more, you look over at NC State. You talk about the league getting tougher, the January 4th Pittsburgh game and at Notre Dame, but for crying out loud, you got 2 more easier type games with East Carolina and the UNC Greensboro game. But at Tennessee, you go to Knoxville and take on a SEC opponent, and then Missouri, who's undefeated December the 28th. Around the holidays, around this time, you can get some big wins and shock some teams that are resume builders when you get down to the NCAA selection committee. You want those RPIs to be up there, which they are, but Missouri, Tennessee, those are big matchups before ACC play.
Well, Coach Godfrey knows, a lot of making the NCAA tournament is who you schedule. It's obviously who you beat, obviously, at the end of the day, but who you schedule is very important, and he made it an emphasis point to really schedule some tough teams.
Yep. RPI is basically a math problem. You want teams with higher RPIs even in games like this, like Detroit. The thing about Detroit is, they've lost some games, and but they've beaten some teams as well. But Detroit is, coming off being an NCAA and an NIT team.
Yeah.
Those are the teams you're looking for to play for your non-conference games.
And Coach McCallum has improved their conference win mark every season that he's been there in his 6 seasons. Njoku goes up, can't get it to go, but he's fouled by Turner. And on the other side, Coach Godfrey in his 3rd season, he's one of only 3 coaches in ACC history to make the NCAA tournament in both of his first 2 seasons.
Yeah, and it's the way college basketball works nowadays. Those, they say throwaway games, games you buy, games like, Detroit. NC State's not going to Detroit anytime, well, if ever, but they're going to get this game in, and it's good because you got an NCAA and NIT type team. Now, they're a little bit different than they were these last couple of years, but they can make some hay in their league, so that does help your resume in your RPI down the stretch.
Njoku is 2 for 4 today, but he's only a 25% free throw shooter on the season, and he gets 1 of 2 here. So full court pressure now from Detroit. Lewis hounded, And they get it across the timeline to Warren. Turner thought about the three, wise move. Plenty of time on the shot clock, and NC State wants to run a little clock and get a good possession here. Howard runs out, and he fouls Freeman, so Freeman will go to the line to shoot two. For Howard, just his second foul.
You got a 10-point lead here, or a 10-point game here, and Juwan Howard, that's just a foul you can't have. You've already worked the shot clock down. You got a guy who's not a penetrator in Leonard Freeman at the top of the key. You just, of course, he misses the first one too. May work out for him, but that's a foul you can't have. And for Detroit right now, you got to find a way to, not only get turnovers but get some rebounds, and before you get to three-point shooting game.
And Freeman misses both. We talked about Njoku not being a good free throw shooter, and Freeman only a 22% free throw shooter before missing those two. Williams with nowhere to go. Howard, little head fake, trying to get by Warren, and he bowls his way all the way to the cup and lands very gingerly, grabbing at his knee. Juwan Howard in pain here.
I think he felt like he should have got the foul on that one, and sometimes a little frustration for him, but you called it correctly. He bowled his way through T.J. Warren and got his way to the basket.
So Detroit has cut this lead to 8, just over 3 minutes left. And if you're Coach McCallum, you're on the road. It's after exams. They've lost some close games this year. What are you saying in your huddle to your team?
What he's telling his guys right now, just kind of create their pressure, their press, and trying to find out a way for them to get some turnovers. I mean, the shot clock, NC State's going to try to start working the shot clock, and they're going to try to get across half court. Mark Geiffer's telling his guys, once you get across half court, hey, know that the clock is your friend. Detroit trying to speed up the Wolfpack, and they've got a special. I mean, this looks a little bit different than what we saw before. It's a man trap, so it's going to start off man, and then they're going to peel off and try to trap someone.
It will change for Mark Gottfried. Des Lee, Turner, Lewis, Vandenberg, and Warren on the floor now. So you have 4 guys that can handle the ball, and he takes Freeman out because at this juncture of the game, his free throw shooting really doesn't allow him to be on the floor, even though he's such a good rebounder. You'd like to have him out there.
Yep.
So Lewis getting a ball screen from Vandenberg. Lewis will penetrate. Little floater with the right hand, and he can't get the kiss off the glass. And Bruinsma now brings it up the floor. Big possession here for the Titans. Williams trying to jam over Vandenberg, and he's called for the foul, and that's going to be his 5th.
That's it. Looked like it was a good foul, or a good shot block as you see him go up. The second one was a foul, but that's it for Jordan Vandenberg.
So Vandenberg.
That is a tough blow. Now, because obviously you're losing a 7-footer as he's encouraged his guys on the bench, but more importantly, here's Detroit getting points with the clock not moving.
Scoring with the clock off, and Williams is an 86% free throw shooter. He knocks down the first one. And the freshman, the 6'2 freshman,
got a
trying to dunk
lead
on a 7'1 guy. They worked out for him there.
Yeah, it did.
This game is tightened up under 2:30. Detroit showing some tenacity on the road here. Des Lee being marked by Howard. And Lee's so athletic, you just get the feeling he can go around him when he wants to.
Much better job working the clock they did the last possession. Now you got to get the ball in the hands of a scorer, and there he is.
Warren to the bucket, and one. And this time he bowls over Howard and finishes.
He does, T.J. Warren. I mean, look, he creates some space for himself, and they're not going to call it. First of all, he's inside the jump circle that they installed a couple of years ago. But T.J. Warren, when he gets the ball in his hands, nobody in the country can finish around the basket as well as T.J. Warren can and will. And that's what you do. You get the ball to your top guys, your top scorers. Big free throw here, though.
And it rattles out. So Warren with 27 points, but he can't get the additional one there. And now Howard will shoot for 3 and got it. Oh, a huge shot for Juwan Howard Jr. And Coach McCallum wants timeout after the junior Howard buries one from the top of the key and cuts it to 5.
And that was impressive. Now we've seen it, the step in, step back, and pull the trigger. He's got a beautiful shot. It's shocking that he has missed as many threes this year as he has, but now you got a 5-point lead. 5-point lead by NC State. Detroit, okay, look, a minute 56, that's an eternity. Now, they're not having more timeouts, but more importantly than anything else, it's the fine line as to when you start fouling and who do you start fouling. So I think for Detroit right now, it's the create pressure, try to hopefully get a turnover or two, okay? Obviously, you get 2 turnovers and immediately get those 2 points, and all of a sudden, you got a basketball. I mean, it's 2 possessions right now. So Detroit with and the pressure that they tried to create last time, it was a man, and then they tried to, try to transition into a trap, just didn't work, and allowed NC State to get their half-court offense, which gets the ball to TJ Warren. Now, for NC State, it's get the ball to your best foul shooters, get Tyler Lewis, who, a guy with the experience, who is a good foul shooter, let him kind of keep things under pressure, under control. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, because the last thing you want to do is all of a sudden, try to pressure yourself and try to move the ball up the court as fast as you can and put yourself in a bad position on the offensive end. So big play right here, big possession right here, and a lot of pressure is on Tyler Lewis and even Desmond Lee for that matter.
So a 5-point lead for the Wolfpack after the 3 for Howard. Only a 27% three-point shooter coming into this ball game, but he's 4 of 8, so 500 for him in this ball game. None bigger than the one he just made. Lee trying to trigger in, and he calls timeout. So a heads-up play for Lee, not wanting to turn the ball over. Detroit with that relentless pressure.
Yep.
And NC State has plenty of timeouts here, so they'll go ahead and burn one.
And what happened there, Kyle Washington, the young freshman, was supposed to screen for Tyler Lewis. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've got a good coach in Ray McCallum who he's changing up how he's defending, okay? There's nobody guarding the inbounder. Nobody's guarding the inbounder, and so what needs to happen is you got to free up who you're obviously getting the ball into.
Right.
And with that free guy roaming around almost like a free safety, well, it's up to underneath the basket. That's what, coming out of this, Mark Gottfried and the NC State Wolfpack understand what they're doing. Now, it looks like they're going to go with the free safety again, and they're talking to each other, and now, Juwan Howard is going to be the free safety, as they call him. It looks like he's on the defender, and then he's going to spin around, and he's going to defend and trap, but they got the ball to Cat Barber.
Barber back into the ball game. He's got the 4 fouls, but under 2 minutes. Why not put him back in there and have him and Lewis both as ball handlers? So it's Lewis, Barber, Lee, Washington, and TJ Warren on the floor for the Wolfpack. As the shot clock dwindles down now to 12. And this is about the time when you want to start your offense. To Warren, and he was hacked by Njoku up high. Nearly a clothesline. And Warren will go to the line to shoot 2. Both teams in the double bonus at this point. And he just, on a back cut, got right by Bruinsma.
The goal is don't let him get the ball up. Mission accomplished.
First free throw is good for Warren.
This time last year, Warren wouldn't be in the game at the end of the game, because even though he's a good scorer, he wasn't a good foul shooter. Now you can trust him to be able to knock down these shots as he missed the second one.
So 1 of 2 for Warren. He's now got 28. Howard on the other side has 24.
2-possession game. Detroit's got to be patient. Don't jack up threes thinking that that's how you're going to win the game.
Remember, Detroit now out of timeouts. And you know Howard's going to be the guy. Coming into this game, he had taken almost twice as many shots as anyone else. Williams kind of let the ball go like he thought he got away with the walk. He dunks it down to Bruinsma, but NC State coming the other way. It's a 4-point game. Barber's going to attack. Left hand, no. Washington slams it down. Detroit trying to attack quickly the other way. Bruinsma gets the roll, and Detroit has been able to answer so quickly after a big NC State play. So still a 4-point game, under 45 seconds left.
They got to start fouling. They got to foul.
And a late foul called after the ball had gone out, so they're going to foul Washington. NC State obviously wanted to get the ball there to Warren.
Cat Barber, you want to take a little time off the clock, but instead he attacks freshman mistake, but he gets followed up by their freshman teammate Kyle Washington with the dunk. Really the dunk over TJ Warren. What a follow, Cat Barber. And then it almost looked like he laid it off the glass for him.
So the freshman Kyle Washington, first free throw rims in.
That's a big foul shot.
And that's only the 5th one he's taken all year. He was 2 for 4 coming into this game, so now 3 for 5. So 50%, obviously not a big sample size.
Still got plenty of time if you're Detroit. Whether he makes this or not, it's this 2-possession game. And he does. It's still 6-point lead. You're fine.
And he gets the crowd pumped up as well. How about that? Washington, the jam, and then 2 huge free throws. Brundage being swarmed by white jerseys. Bruinsma open from the top of the key. A cold-blooded 3 from Evan Bruinsma. And Turner is wrapped up around the waist. It's a 1-possession game right now.
How about Bruinsma? Just waiting, just calling for it, begging for it. The big guy gets it at the top of the key, and that was pretty nothing but net. I mean, that's just, you're right, cold-blooded. I mean, it was at the top of 3. You needed it.
The leaders from Detroit have really come up big. Howard and Bruinsma, they're both co-captains. Bruinsma's only a 15% three-point shooter, as Turner nowhere close on the first free throw. But in the biggest time right there, when he has to knock that shot down, nothing but net.
That's who you rely on. You rely on your leaders. This comes a big foul shot right here to get it to a 4-point lead.
Turner. And a second free throw now swishes through.
Mark Gottfried's going to call timeout, get his defense, and more importantly, not so much the defense as to who they should be defending, who they should be looking for. And, of course, for Detroit on the other sidelines, it's, okay, finding your three-point shooters, but just know this. With 27.7 seconds to go in the game, you don't need to force up a 3. I mean, I know that's the instinct, and it may lend itself to a 3, but that's not completely needed right now. What you're trying to do is potentially get something going towards the basket, cut it back to a 2-point game, and then play this, foul shooting game. Because what you want to do, you want to trade layups and mid-range jump shots for foul shots.
You see, as we come down the stretch here, the score, the possession arrow, and the timeouts all in NC State's favor right now. I agree with you. If the 3's there, you got to take it if it's open, but Detroit will probably try to go to the basket with something quick. Bruinsma and Brundage, along with Howard, Grant, and Williams on the floor for Detroit. Under 25 seconds left. Gets a screen from Bruinsma. Brundage, marked by Lewis, and a travel called. He was swarmed by the Wolfpack defense, and he come away with a turnover.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. I understand maybe a turnover, but let's see the travel.
Desmond Lee fouled by Brundage. And so Lee will go to the line now with the Wolfpack up 4.
Ray Natilli on the call on that one. It's, there was maybe some contact there, but the travel, I just didn't see it. There was some confusion there with the basketball. NC State dropped back to a 2-3 zone, I think, threw Detroit off a little bit, didn't know where to go with the ball, and they were able to surround the player. And
here's Lee's first free throw of the night.
Tough way to end it.
Splash. Lee on the season, just a hair under 70%, 69.7. Second free throw from number 5. Rattles out, and the board goes to Howard. Warren marked him a little bit. He's got to go here. They're down 5. Grant will pull the trigger for 3, and the southpaw drains one from the corner. Clutch three-point shooting from the Titans. Only a 2-point game. They got to get it in. And no, before they get the ball in, timeout, Mark Gottfried and the NC State Wolfpack.
What an incredible 3 with a man in his face. Ralston Turner was all over him. Big 3 and nothing at the bottom of the net. Cut this thing to 2. And we got us a basketball game here, friend.
It's been a good one. Matthew Grant knocks down the triple. That gives him 9 points on the day. That's his average. So now Mark Gottfried, he wanted to call the timeout. You don't want to turn the ball over there. Again, NC State does have the possession arrow here. And right now you want to get the ball in the hands of your best free throw shooter, your best ball handler right now in Tyler Lewis.
You're going to open up Tyler Lewis. You're going to set a screen, potentially a double screen. 2 guys to get Tyler Lewis open, give him the basketball. They're going to foul him. He goes down the other end, hits 2 foul shots. Now, if you're Detroit, obviously you know that's who they're going for. You defend him the best way you can, but foul him quick, and then just hope that he misses one.
Howard is matched up on TJ Warren. So it's Warren, Barber, Lewis, Washington, and Lee on the floor for the Wolfpack. Lee to trigger it in. He runs the baseline and he gets it to TJ Warren. And they're going to have to look at the clock here, I believe. No time came off.
Looks
Perhaps
like
not.
0.2 seconds came off.
So that foul came pretty quick there for Detroit.
It did. TJ Warren goes to the foul line. And a young man, 28 points tonight, 9 to 12 from the foul line. No 2 bigger than these right here.
First free throw, no good for Warren. Huge one here. And it's good.
3-point game.
So Detroit needs a 3. Here's Williams to bring the ball up the floor. He's got to go. Pulls one from deep. In and out. And the Wolfpack are going to hang on to win. What a finish here, Mark Thomas. 82-79, NC State victorious in Reynolds Coliseum.
Kudos to Ray McCallum and the Detroit Titans. Not going away, not giving up, not giving in. Hitting the 3s down the stretch, battling one of the better teams in the ACC, but not letting them go away. NC State, led by TJ Warren, hitting the foul shot down there at the end, but finishing strong. Hey, you walk away with a win. That's all you can do this time of year. Battle, battle, battle. Get away with a win the best way that you can for Mark Godfrey and his staff. Got to be just pleased as peaches that they got out of here with a win.
So TJ Warren leads the way with 29 points. Juwan Howard Jr. added 24 in a losing effort for Detroit. So for Mark Thomas, I'm Andrew Sanders saying so long from Raleigh, North Carolina, where the final score is NC State 82 and Detroit 79. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Enjoyed it. Yeah, we should be. Get out of here. Nah, get out of here. Are you sure? Yeah, get out of here. We don't have any highlights or anything to cut afterwards. Yeah. All right, thank you, Greg. What's that? Yeah. Right now?
Detroit takes the Wolfpack to the wire, 82-79 the final. The Titans drop to 5 and 6. Stay with us. We got a lot to talk about as we wrap this one up from historic Reynolds Coliseum on the Wolfpack Sports Network. Spinning. Warren makes it give it up. Gives it to Williams.
And CJ, I'll have a 20-second play coming out of this.
Howard drops.
All right.